What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Kelvin Show. Today we're gonna cover 10 of the biggest headline that is happening right now, and there's a lot of topics. And give you some of the topics. First up, we got like cover a bit about Anthropic unleash a powerful new AI with built-in safety kill switch. Second, OpenAI files confidential FTC paperwork for IPO, opening the door to Wall Street debate, just like Anthropic and SpaceX, three of the biggest IPOs that is coming this year. And then lastly, SpaceX told investors about the targeting timeline for the orbital AI compute demonstration, which is coming late 2027. So what it is all means, we gonna really just break it all down and let's go right in with the first topic, which is Anthropic, right? So Anthropic debated Fable 5, a version of its highly capable Mythos AI model that was previously restricted over security concerns. The release include many different safeguards, right? So why did they release it right now? So Anthropic is basically balancing its safety kind of first corporate identity with commercial pressure to compete in its fierce AI arms race. The original Metals core model possessed dangerous capability in discovering cybersecurity exploits and assisting with biological research. To deploy this elite reasoning capability commercially without causing a national security crisis or triggering severe regulatory backlash, Anthropic engineered real-time guardrails. If a user input high-risk prompts, the system will instantly route it to like a request to a safer, um, less capable fallback model. So allowing the public to use it advanced coding features safely. So Anthropic is taking like the safety at a different level because Anthropic is the one that decided, hey, if you remember, the founder is already in the OpenAI original team, right? So they quit OpenAI to start Anthropic because he thinks that he wanted to create a safer AI for all, and they even um, kind of terminated the government contract Anthropic with the U.S. government because of the safety issue. So Anthropic is really one of the companies that put a lot of effort into safety to make sure that it is one of the safest for all humans. If you don't do it right, it's gonna cause a lot of public and backlash. I think Anthropic is definitely taking next global. China goes all in on AI, 295 billion plan to dominate the global tech industry. So China is preparing a 5-year plan to build a nationwide data center network with much of its infrastructure expected to be operated by state-backed firms. Beijing is also aiming to source 80% of its key technology domestically, leaning on suppliers like Huawei, which will further limit opportunities for U.S. chipmaker like NVIDIA and AMD and China's infrastructure build up. So China really just want to catch up on this kind of global stage right now. And another key thing, Taiwan. Taiwan is the manufacturer of all the design chips from NVIDIA and AMD, and they just don't want to leave behind because right now, if you see the global innovation pace right now, it's all in the United States, leading by NVIDIA, and none of the chips have come close to like the Blackwell chips, the latest one that none of them can kind of catch up with it. So China is doubling down on this capability and don't want to kind of fall behind into like a almost like a Cold War arm race in the past, right? We got the rocket race. Now it's the AI race, and China does not want to fall behind on this. One of the greatest transformation in the history. Tightens rules on as 1 billion trading boom triggers security. So Cozy plans to require employers to disclose for certain prediction market ties to sensitive or non-public information, aiming to deter kind of inside trading. Excuse me. The move comes as Cozy's perpetual future contract that don't expire, exceed $1 billion in trading volume in just 1 week after debating. So why are they requiring the employee to disclose like certain prediction market types. First is prediction markets is face intense scrutiny from the Commodity Future Trading Commission, CFTC, over market integrity, right? So COSI is implementing employer disclosure to weed out presumptive insiders like government employees or corporate workers betting on their own industries to stay ahead of regulatory crackdowns. Meanwhile, the $1 billion surge in perpetual future happened because COSI is the first platform to legally offer these highly popular leverage-friendly contracts to the U.S. institutional investors, unlocking these massive penalty demand from the Wall Street. So the new feature is really gaining momentum, and Corsi is just laying the foundational work to make sure that they don't get into any legal trouble in the future. So I think this is the right step forward, because if you don't lay any foundational work, you might get fined by the government, and it's gonna be a hefty fine. I think this is a really smart. Next, get into a bit about Social Security. The Social Security Retirement Trust Fund in the US is now projected to run out by 2032. Just 6 years from now, guys. Social Security Trust Fund will run out according to the latest trustee report from the Social Security Administration. If Congress does not act before then, only about 78% of scheduled retirement benefit will be payable, meaning roughly one in every $4 of promised benefits will effectively disappear. Social Security has never made a payment in its history, but the funding timeline has not improved, putting more pressure on the lawmaker to address the shortfall before 2032. So why is the funding kind of running out? Social Security is kind of running out because it's the system now pays out more money than it connects, right? Mainly due to aging population, lower birth rate, and people are living longer. With fewer workers supporting more retirees, payroll tax revenue isn't enough. So the program has been using its trust fund to cover the gap. If no changes are made, that reserve is expected to be completely depleted by 2032, after which income taxes will only cover about 78% of the promised benefits, effectively forcing a reduction unless Congress step in to fix the imbalance. So, in 6 years, the Social Security Trust Fund is really about to your check is about to shrink, right? So hopefully, older people when they retire, they really need that income to support themselves because they cannot work, and if you don't have the income to do it, right, you cannot live like a normal life, because like when once you get older, you can't really find a job, right? That is very hard. So hopefully the government does step up to help get more money to the trust fund, because that's all we really need. Like like when you're older, you just that's all you can get. Use this money to buy like a daily essentials. Is on the topic once again. OpenAI is filing for its confidential SEC paperwork for IPO, opening the door for the Wall Street debate. So OpenAI is kind of following the rival Anthropic June 1st disclosure that is also moving toward the initial offering. So it's following, also following SpaceX, which will go public this week on Friday. So it's a really big deal. So three big companies, Anthropic, OpenAI, and SpaceX, are building these uh, massive fundings for the data centers and chips, and that's why they want to go public, because the market is hot right now. So they want to get as much people inside the market. If you look at SpaceX, is raising about projected to raise about $75 billion to build out the infrastructures. So this is kind of like a fair warning for everyone. This is almost remind me of the almost the dot-com bubble. Is it really a bubble? Because there's massive fund coming in, and OpenAI is not really profitable, and SpaceX is also not profitable yet, according to the S1 filings, because they're just losing massive money, and it takes many years probably to get profitable again. It's an AI bubble where investors running out of money, they start injecting money, and the bubble is just gonna pop. That is the thing, right? If you look at the next topic, OpenAI is also targeting a 500 billion Ohio data center. So, OpenAI is in talk to lease a proposed 10 gigawatt the Ohio data center campus backed by NVIDIA and SoftBank with build-out cost potentially reach $500 billion. So to train some of the latest frontier models, right, OpenAI need to go IPO to fund all the resources they want to get to together to build the AI model. So that's the main concern here for me is like if the funding stops and OpenAI revenue projection does not meet what they are looking for, then investors just gonna back out and then they're not even gonna get the money back. So there's so much hype. So it's kind of like almost also remind me of the peak valuation when Tesla reached about $500 and it just straight down to the cliff. So there's a lot of potential. So watch out there, keep your money safe, keep everyone safe. Just be fearful when there's greed. So kind of like Warren Buffett's one of favorite words, and be greedy when there's fear, right? So right now it's almost I feel like there's fear for myself because how greedy everyone is trying to raise so much money from many different many different open AI models. And next, only OpenAI is doing great, but Chewy warns of a slowdown as pet spending cracks. So um, Chewy lowered its 4-year sales forecast amid a tougher consumer environment, despite Q1 revenue rising 7.7% to $3.36 billion and profiting increase. Sales fell at 1.7% pre-market. So why is Chewy facing this kind of slow down and forecast a tougher consumer environment when AI is growing so strong, right? So Chewy is facing like pandemic slowdown is many reasons. One of them is the inflation, right? Inflation was like one of the highest again from 3.7 to 4.2 now. The massive wave of pet adoption, pandemic pet adoption has completely normalized. So when the pandemic hit, a lot of people were adopting different pets, and their flights and operation costs are also rising because of the Middle East costs, and the everyday consumers are just cutting back in discretionary pet expenses like premium toys and treats, while automated auto subscription revenue kept Q1 revenue pretty healthy. Management lowered its 4-year guidance because acquiring new customers in this economic climate has become significantly more expensive due to these many reasons that as when the pandemic hit, people were adopting pets left and right because they were stuck in the house, and a pet will give you like a bit of a less of a loneliness. So now the nobody adopting pets, and consumers are just completely stop spending money on pets. They are very expensive. If you take a pet to the vet, it's like $120 per person per pet, right? So pretty expensive, and when they run into hard times, that's pretty much the first thing they'll cut is like pet spendings, and just to get them the essential like food and stuff to keep them alive while try to get everything back together. SpaceX, we're going to talk about SpaceX. They're never going to run out of topic. SpaceX has told investor it is targeting its first orbital AI compute demonstration by late 2027. Ahead of it could be early as 2028 time, like uh, uh, reference it in its IPO filing. So exactly, I said that early deployment will be demonstrator system designed to prove that concept before a broader rollout. They just want to prove that this concept of Elon Musk saying about putting AI data center in orbit is workable. So the first AI satellite are expected to use NVIDIA's chips with compute power comparable to a NVIDIA GB300 rack. SpaceX has also requested approval to launch up to 1 million space-based data center satellite. 1 million. Okay, its IPO price at $135 per share, targeting $1.75 trillion. Trading expected to begin, and like I said, on Friday. So, a lot of reasons that Elon Musk want to put data centers in space. One of them, unlimited power closer to the sun. Second, it's not that hot, right? And the space is very, very cold. So it doesn't need a lot of cooling systems to cool down the data center. So this is a kind of a Elon Musk is always in the latest and newest frontier, right? That he built the Tesla, he built robotics, and now he's in SpaceX, right, with the data centers and the space. So it's, this man, he just never take a break, right? Always have some of the latest innovations going on. And in May, next up in May, 43.6% of Americans said that they were financially worsening off than a year ago. So this is kind of related to the pet cutting, like pet smart cutting some of the spendings, right? This is a very interesting data. So May of this year. So if you look at some of the data right here, I May, and it is like one of the highest readings since January of 2023. It was also the third straight monthly increase, marking the longest streak of worsening financial sentiment since 2022. For context, this measure peaked at 51.3% in June of 2022, while before the pandemic, it has never topped 20% during the 2017 to 2019 period. So looking ahead, 36% US consumers expect to be financially worse off over the next year, the second highest reading since October 2022 and roughly double the average seen from 2015 to 2017. So there's many reasons. One of them is property inflation. If you go to the supermarket, right, inflation was 3.7. Now it's at 4.1 or 2%, and the gas price never really go down to pre kind of war level from Iran. I think on the gas prices, think about it, right? I was talking to my father-in-law. He was spending about 200 to 300 a month because he owned a truck. He needed a truck for the farm to fill out the truck. And now he used to, he only spent about 100, but now it's almost 2 to 3 times more than what he was kind of spending on the truck. So that could be the reason that, a lot of people are feeling it on the pocket, right? If you go Walmart, right, and you just buy a couple different items from Walmart, and you just get like 4 or 5 items, $100. It's everything is just going up, and everybody is feeling it on their wallet. Last topic of the day, we got now source, but why is the chip giant trading at a discount? So if you look at ASML, right, it hit record highs, gaining about 64% year to date, but it's trading at its lowest relative to its kind of valuation versus major semiconductor peers over a decade. So why is it ASML chip makers trading one of the lowest compared to the peers, right? So investors are pricing in long-term structural risk despite ASML massive current earnings. For its biggest customer, TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, announced it would delay adoption of ASML next generation ultra expensive high NA EUV machine until after 2029 because they are currently too costly. Second, escalating geopolitical trade tensions have resulted in strict Western exports, restricting that complete cut ASML off from selling its top-tier equipment to highly lucrative Chinese market. So ASML is, you guys don't know, it's kind of like a machine that made the machines, and these machines or building chips. So one of the biggest customer is TSMC. Use these a lot, but the chips is just the machines are way too expensive, and then also got the U.S. government banned them from the Chinese market, which is one of the biggest in the world too. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you made it to the end of the video, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. My name is Calvin, and I see you guys in the next one.